Hello students, I welcome you to this session of refrigeration and air conditioning. In the previous lecture, I have discussed the definition of the terms like air conditioning, psychrometry, saturated air and unsaturated air, and also we have learned the composition of atmospheric air. In this lecture, we will also continue our discussion on the moist air. Now, as I told you in the previous lecture, that atmospheric air is the mixture of the dry part of the air and water vapor. Okay. Now, when I say that the dry part of the air, then it means the mixture of nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide and argon, which are mainly present in the atmospheric air and whose composition in the atmospheric pressure is fixed, whereas the composition of water vapor which is present in the atmosphere depends upon the pressure and temperature of the mixture at a particular location. Okay. Now, in order to do the calculations of the air conditioning, we have to learn the Dalton's law of partial pressure. It can be easily understood with the help of the figure which is given on the left hand side on this slide. Now, in this left hand side, we have the three containers, as you can see: container A, container B and container C. And these three containers contains three different gases. Okay, let us take the gas number A, gas number B and gas number C. Okay, and then the pressure gauge is connected to all the three containers, as you can see. So it will give us the value of the three gases as discussed just now. Okay, so Dalton's law states that the total pressure of these three gases is mixture of these three gases is equal to the individual pressure exerted by the gas A plus gas B plus gas C if all these three gases are allowed to occupy the same volume and temperature as that of the mixture. Okay, that is the pressure indicated by the pressure gauge. Here, as you can see, 100 kilopascal. Okay, and pressure exerted by the gas B in the container, which is shown as 250 kilopascal in this slide, and pressure exerted by gas C in container C, which is indicated as 200 kilopascal in this slide. Okay, so if we add all these three pressures, that is 100 plus 250 plus 200. Okay, so if you calculate, it will become 550 kilopascal. Okay, so this relation is valid, as I told you just now, if all these three gases in the three different containers occupy the same volume and have the same temperature. Okay, so similarly, if you consider the moist air, and just I told you that atmospheric air or the moist air consists of both the dry air as well as the water vapor. Okay, so if we assume that the atmospheric pressure is denoted by the symbol capital T, okay, then capital P will be equal to Pt. Okay, Pt is nothing but the total pressure of the moist air. Okay, so this will be equal to the partial pressure exerted by the gas A plus the partial pressure exerted by the vapor V. Okay, A is nothing but here, as you can see, is the dry air. Okay, so gas A, which I have just told, is nothing but equal to dry air of the atmospheric air. Okay, so as you can see here, we have the total pressure is equal to partial pressure of dry air, part of the air, plus partial pressure of water vapor. Okay, so this relation will help us in calculation of number of properties. Okay, now let us look at some of the most important psychrometric properties of the moist air. Okay, so first one we have the dry bulb temperature. It can be denoted as dBT. Okay, or in some textbooks you may find the symbol as small t. Okay, number two we have the wet bulb temperature, which is denoted as WBT, and notation can be given as T dash. Similarly, the third property is dew point temperature, which is denoted by dPT. Okay, and it can be represented by the symbol T, small t, with the subscript D. Okay, the fourth one we have specific humidity. It is also called as absolute humidity or moisture content or humidity ratio. Okay, and it is specified by the symbol small w. Okay, the next property is degree of saturation. Okay, and it is represented by the symbol mu. Right. Now, next important property is relative humidity, which is denoted by the symbol phi, or it can also be written as RH. Okay, and finally, the last property is enthalpy of moist air. Okay, it can be represented by the symbol small h. Okay, now let us have the understanding of these different properties as I discussed in the previous slide. So first of all, we have the dry bulb temperature, which is denoted by dBT or T. Okay, and it is the temperature which is recorded by the thermometer when it is suspended freely in the outside air, provided the bulb part is not affected by the radiation or the moisture, which can be added separately. Okay, so if you suspend the temperature, if you suspend the thermometer in the outside air, okay, and you notice that the temperature reading is coming as 35 degrees Celsius or 40 degrees Celsius in the summer condition. Okay, then this temperature, which is indicated by the thermometer, is nothing but the dry bulb temperature. Okay, and provided that it is not affected by the radiation or you are not adding any kind of moisture to the bulb part of the thermometer. Okay, the next important temperature is dew point temperature. It can be written as dPT or TD. Okay, so let us understand the concept of dew point temperature with the help of the TS diagram. Okay, so as you can see over here, we have the vapor dome. The line on the right hand side or the curve on the right hand side is called as the saturated vapor line, and the curve on the left hand side is called as the saturated liquid line. Okay, so just I told you that assume that the outside air is at 40 degrees Celsius in the summer conditions. Okay, and this 40 degrees Celsius, let us assume it is denoted by the point number 1. Okay, so the temperature at point 1 will be nothing but the dry bulb temperature, and as you can see over here in this TS diagram, it is represented by T1. Okay, now I told you in the previous class that water vapor exists in superheated condition in the atmosphere. Okay, and also in the previous slide we have learned that the total pressure of the outside air is equal to partial pressure of the dry air plus partial pressure of the water vapor. Okay, now partial pressure of water vapor in the atmospheric air is very low. Okay, if you consider the atmospheric pressure as 1.0325 bar, then the partial pressure of water vapor may be 0.05 bar. Okay, at a particular temperature. Okay, so at 0.05 bar, the corresponding saturation temperature value is very low. Okay, so that's why the water vapor which is present in the outside air exists in superheated condition. Okay, if you take the example as 40 degrees Celsius, just as I discussed right now, then corresponding to saturation pressure of 0.5 bar or 0.05 bar, okay, the value may be as low as 15 degrees Celsius or maybe lesser than that. Okay, and but the temperature of the outside air is 40 degrees Celsius. Okay, so that's why the condition of water vapor is superheated condition. Okay, so if you cool the outside moist air at constant pressure, okay, so you know that the nature of the constant pressure line on a TS diagram varies. As you can see on the left hand side, it goes like in a curved manner, okay, in the upward direction like this, and then within the vapor dome it moves in a horizontal straight line, okay, and then again after the saturated vapor line as shown by point number 2, it again moves in the curved manner in the upward direction. Okay, so this nature of the constant pressure line is applicable for both heating as well as cooling processes. Okay, so if you cool the moist air from point number 1, okay, at constant pressure, right, then you will notice that the cooling will follow, or the cooling process will follow the line from 1 to 2, okay, as indicated by the arrow. Okay, so as you reach, as you move down, as you know that the pressure will remain constant. Okay, so as you reach point number 2, right, the condition of the saturated vapor is reached, right. At point number 2, you will note that the moisture which is present in the air, outside air, starts condensing, okay, or you can say that the first drop of moisture starts appearing on the surface where you are cooling the outside air. Okay, so this temperature at point number 2, the temperature is nothing but the dew point temperature where the first drop of moisture is seen. Okay, and the pressure corresponding to the point number 2, okay, is called as the partial pressure of water vapor, right. Okay, I hope this dew point temperature and dry bulb temperature is clear to all of you. Okay, now let us quickly understand the wet bulb temperature. Okay, so wet bulb temperature is the temperature which is indicated by the bulb portion of the thermometer. Okay, and thermometer is covered by a special fabric called muslin sleeve, right, and it is dipped in the water. So if you move this thermometer in the unsaturated air at a velocity of 3 to 5 meter per